In this video, I want to show you how to make the perfect low-carb lemon or vanilla birthday cake. Who doesn't love cake? I do love cake. I remember my mother asking me, Elena, which kind of cake you want for your birthday this year? And I always ask for a strawberry shortcake. That is my favorite. So no matter if it's a strawberry shortcake, tiramisu, chocolate cake, whatever cake you love, I want to show you how to make the base for any birthday cake that you can after cut to make layers, or you can just have one layer on it. You can stuff it with whipped cream, the whipped cream that I'm going to show you how to make at the end of the video. When we finish making our birthday cake, you can make also like a chocolate sauce, any. But of course, cakes usually come with tons of sugar, with dairy on it, and with a lot of refined flours. So the recipe that I want to show you in this video is totally free of all that stuff. It's totally grain-free, it's low carb. So my favorite flours on a low carb are almond flour, blanched almond flour, very fine, and coconut flour. These are the best on a low carb version. So it's completely grain free, it's dairy free. We are not using any milk or heavy cream or sour cream. And the other dry ingredients that we are going to use is baking soda, baking powder, with both help our cake growing. A little bit of salt, no matter if it's a sweetener, we always put salt. And of course, what is making our cake sweet. I'm going to use low glycemic index sweetener, stevia or monk fruit. We are not using sugar alcohols, even if sugar usually tends to give the fluffy texture to cakes. We are going to make a very moist cake without using sugar alcohols. We are using just stevia or monk fruit powder. Be sure that you only find stevia or monk fruit on the ingredients label, not mixed with anything else. So let's start putting together the dry ingredients. Oh, but first, before I forget, always, before we start mixing ingredients, what we have to do, let's preheat the oven. So we are going to preheat the oven at 350 Fahrenheit. So it's going to be ready when all our ingredients are together. And first we are going to put 2 cups of blanched almond flour, 1/3 cup coconut flour, or 3/4 cup more almond flour or cassava flour, 1 teaspoon baking powder, not 3, 1 teaspoon baking powder, and 1 teaspoon baking soda, a little pinch of salt. So 2 to 3 teaspoons stevia powder or monk fruit powder. Don't use the liquid form. If you use the liquid form, you will have to add more because it's less concentrated than the powder. And basically this is it. These are all our dry ingredients. Let's just mix them well all together. And then these are our wet ingredients for the cake. As I mentioned, this is a completely dairy-free cake. So the milk that we are going to use is nut milk. Like for example, I made almond milk. You can use pecan, macadamia. We are going to use 4 large eggs. They have to be room temperature first. Of course, the other magic ingredient that makes our cake growing is apple cider vinegar, but be sure you use the raw apple cider vinegar with the mother and just a little bit of oil. So let's just mix all our wet ingredients together. So the trick first is, in 1/2 cup of your nut milk or coconut milk, we are going to make buttermilk, which does together with the baking powder helps the cake growing. So with the milk, we are going to add 2 teaspoons of raw apple cider vinegar and then stir it well. So the milk is gonna curdle, and that is how we make our buttermilk. So let's leave it like this for 5 minutes while we are mixing the rest of the wet ingredients. So we use 4 large pasture-raised eggs. With energy, we are gonna beat the eggs for a couple of minutes until they get foamy. What we are going to add to our eggs. If you decide to make a lemon cake, then you add quarter to half a cup of lemon or lime juice and a teaspoon of the lemon or the lime grind. If you are going to make a vanilla cake, which is what I'm making, you can add 3 teaspoons vanilla extract without alcohol, or you can use this beautiful vanilla bean. We cut the vanilla bean to open the vanilla bean like this. So you have all the seeds exposed now. And basically, we just take a spoon and just scrape out all the beans. Look at these beauties. And we add them here. So which oil? We have to use a high smoke point oil because we are going to put it in the oven. So in my case, I'm going to use MCT oil, but you can use coconut oil, avocado oil. Those are also good. So we are going to use about half a cup. Whisk it well. And now, after 5 minutes, the milk is curdled. So we are going to add it to the eggs. And we are making a beautiful buttermilk. So before we mix the dry and the wet ingredients, let's prepare the mold where we are going to make our cake. So you have different options. If you just want a round, thin lemon or vanilla cake that you can eat just with your breakfast, for example, you can use about 8 to 9 inch spring form, or you can put it on a glass dish like this. This is about 8 by 11 inches. And be sure that you line it with parchment paper. If you want to make a cake with different layers, if you want different layers and you have like about 5-inch spring form round ones, then you can use 3 of those. Otherwise, to make 4 layers cake square, I use this one, the 8 by 11 inch glass dish, and I'm going to show you how to cut it after and how you would layer it. And then now we are just going to mix our dry and wet ingredients. So let's just add the wet into the dry and just whisk it all together. Okay, so we have our butter. So we just pour the butter on top of our baking dish. Be sure that you spread it all over. So we have our cake here. We're gonna put it in the oven for about 30 minutes or until the toothpick or the knife comes out clean. Our cake is ready. Let's bring it out from the oven. And now, patience, we have to let it cool down at I would say to room temperature. So the cake has cooled down. We take it out from the baking dish. If you didn't prepare small ones to layer, I want to show you how to make the layers if you want to make a layer cake. We are going to get a serrata knife and we are going to make a cut in the middle. Alright. So you could have 2 layers like this, big ones, or if you want to have 4 layers, we make a cut like this. And here we would have our layers. Look how beautiful and moist. Be sure that you remove all the edges of each layer so they look perfect for stuffing with your favorite cream. To prepare your low-carb, sugar-free whipped cream, the only thing we need is coconut milk. So you buy a coconut milk from a can that only has coconut and water or coconut water and wargam, and you put it in the refrigerator at least overnight, and what happens is that the cream and the water separates. So we are gonna scoop out the cream, and that is what we use to make our whipped cream. You see, this is solid. So we are going to scoop out the cream in our bowl. Be careful, don't take the liquid that is in the bottom, just the cream. And then you add the sweetener, so stevia or monk fruit in the powder form or the liquid form. I don't like it too sweet, so I'm going to add less than 1/8 teaspoon. But you can always taste it and add more if you feel it's not sweet enough. And then the secret is to use a road mixer, a hand mixer, a road mixer. This is what is going to whip the cream. So let's just make a mess here because it's going to be jumping a little bit. And now you will be ready to fill your layers. So with a spoon or a knife, start spreading. Then you will put your layer on the top. Yummy. And we will put the extra whipped cream for another layer. I love it. If you are making a strawberry shortcake, then you put your whipped cream, you put a layer of strawberries, and then you put the layer of your cake. What I wanted to show you today is how simple it is to make a vanilla cake that you can use for any of your favorite cakes. I hope you give it a try because you are going to love it. I would love to hear, put in the comment section how you have tried this cake, which is your favorite cake, and if you like it, I hope to see you in the next video.